The champagne glass gleamed under crystal chandeliers, poison swirling in golden bubbles. Hajun Kong, Seoul's most dangerous mafia heir, raised it to his lips while cameras flashed, and his fiancée smiled like a serpent. Nobody saw the betrayal coming, except her. Blessing Okoye had one chance to save the man she once loved, the man who broke her heart and sent her running across continents. One impossible choice. Let him die or destroy everything with a single, reckless act. She chose chaos. She chose the kiss that would burn Seoul to the ground. What happens when a black woman crashes a mafia engagement party and kisses the groom in front of Korea's elite? Murder, lies, fake deaths, and a love that refused to stay buried. This is the story of the kiss that started a war. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below what you think happens next. Blessing's heels struck marble like gunshots as she ran toward the stage. Every eye in the ballroom turned. The champagne glass touched Hajun's lips. She had 3 seconds, maybe 4. Her lungs burned. Her mind screamed that this was insane, that she should let karma take its course, that the man on that stage had destroyed her once and would do it again. But her body moved anyway, propelled by something more primal than logic, more powerful than self-preservation. She reached him as the rim met his mouth. Without thinking, without breathing, she grabbed his face with both hands and kissed him. Hard. Desperate. The kind of kiss that stops time and shatters worlds. The champagne glass fell from his fingers, exploding against the floor in a spray of crystal and poison. The room erupted. Gasps. Shouts. Camera flashes like lightning. But Blessing heard none of it. Because Hajun Kong, the man she'd spent 3 years trying to forget, was kissing her back. His hands found her waist instinctively, fingers pressing into fabric as if to confirm she was real. For one infinite second, they were 23 again, tangled in hotel sheets while rain drummed against windows, whispering promises they'd both believed. Then reality crashed back. Hajun broke away first, his dark eyes wide with shock and something else, something that looked dangerously like hope. Blessing stumbled backward, chest heaving, suddenly aware of the hundreds of people staring at her, the security guards advancing, and Yura Min standing frozen in her white designer dress, face twisted with rage. Sees her. Yura's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. She attacked him. She's insane. 4 men in black suits grabbed Blessing's arms. She didn't resist. Her eyes stayed locked on Hajun's face, watching recognition bloom there, watching him remember. His jaw tightened. His hand rose in a subtle gesture that stopped the guards from dragging her away immediately. Wait, Hajun said quietly, but his voice carried absolute authority. He looked down at the shattered glass, at the liquid pooling on the marble, already eating through the polish with a faint hissing sound. His expression went cold, the warmth from seconds ago vanishing behind the mask he wore for the world. Nobody touched that. Get a hazmat team. Now. Yura's face paled. Just for a moment, but Blessing saw it. Confirmation. Hajun, what are you talking about? Yura moved closer, reaching for him with perfectly manicured hands. You're in shock. This woman is clearly disturbed. Security should remove her immediately before she causes more trouble. Hajun caught Yura's wrist mid-reach, his grip gentle but immovable. I said wait. He turned to Blessing, and she saw the question in his eyes, saw him trying to understand why she was here, why she'd done this, why after 3 years of silence she'd appeared like a ghost to save his life. Take her to the East Wing. Private room. No one touches her until I arrive. Hajun, this is ridiculous. Yura's voice rose, losing its cultured edge. It's our engagement party. You can't just. The party's over, Hajun said flatly. He released Yura's wrist and addressed the crowd with the practiced ease of someone born to command. There's been a security incident. Please exit through the main doors. Your belongings will be returned tomorrow. I apologize for the inconvenience. The guards led Blessing away through a side corridor. She didn't fight. Her lips still tingled. Her heart hammered against her ribs like it wanted to escape. What had she done? She'd just kissed Hajun Kong in front of Seoul's entire power structure, destroyed his engagement, and painted a target on her own back the size of Korea itself. But he was alive. The poison was on the floor instead of in his bloodstream. That had to count for something. The private room was smaller than she expected, decorated in minimalist luxury with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Seoul skyline. The guards positioned themselves outside the door. Blessing paced, adrenaline making her hands shake. She pressed her palms against the cool glass, watching traffic flow through streets below like blood through veins. Somewhere in this city, she'd built a new life. A quiet life. Teaching English, eating tteokbokki from street vendors, learning to be invisible. One kiss had incinerated all of it. The door opened 20 minutes later. Hajun entered alone, still wearing his engagement party suit, though he'd loosened his tie. He looked tired suddenly, the careful mask slipping to reveal the weight he carried. They stared at each other across 5 feet of expensive carpet. 3 years collapsed into nothing. Blessing, he said finally, her name rough in his mouth like he hadn't let himself say it in too long. What are you doing in Seoul? I live here, she answered, hating how small her voice sounded. I have for 2 years. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe. Regret. 2 years. And you never. Never what? The words came out sharper than intended. Never called. Never showed up at your office? You made it clear we were done, Hajun. You sent me away. To protect you, he said, taking a step closer. My father found out about us. He would have killed you, Blessing. Not quickly. Not kindly. I gave you money, a new start, because keeping you alive meant letting you go. Blessing laughed bitterly. So noble. Did you practice that speech, or does it come naturally now? She crossed her arms, armor against the ache in her chest. I didn't come here to rehash ancient history. Your fiancé tried to poison you tonight. The champagne. I overheard her making arrangements with someone, your rival I think, Kim something. They planned to make it look like a heart attack. Hajun's expression went deadly still. You're certain? I heard her on the phone in the bathroom. She didn't see me. Blessing met his eyes. She's trying to kill you, Hajun. And I couldn't let her. I couldn't let you die, even after everything. So I kissed you. It was the only thing I could think of to make you drop the glass. He moved suddenly, closing the distance between them in 2 strides. His hands cupped her face the way hers had cupped his on that stage, thumbs brushing her cheekbones with devastating gentleness. You saved my life. Don't, Blessing whispered, but she didn't pull away. Don't look at me like that. Don't touch me like you have the right. I don't have the right, Hajun agreed, his forehead touching hers. I threw that away when I chose my father's empire over you. But Blessing, God, seeing you tonight, I thought I was hallucinating. I thought grief had finally driven me insane. You don't get to do this, she said, even as her hands found his chest, feeling his heartbeat through expensive fabric. You don't get to be vulnerable and broken. You're Hajun Kong. You're steel and ice and power. You don't need anyone. I needed you, he said simply. I need you. I've needed you every day for 3 years. He pulled back enough to look at her properly. But right now, we have bigger problems. If Yura tried to kill me once, she'll try again. And after that scene tonight, you're a target too. She'll come after you to tie up loose ends. Reality reasserted itself with brutal clarity. Blessing stepped back, breaking contact. What do you want me to do? Work with me, Hajun said. Help me expose her. Then I'll make sure you're safe, set you up somewhere she can never find you. New identity, new country if that's what you want. But I need your testimony, your evidence. And if I say no? His jaw tightened. Then I'll have my men escort you to the airport tonight with enough money to disappear. But Blessing, Yura has connections everywhere. If she thinks you're a threat, running might not be enough. Blessing walked to the window, pressing her forehead against the glass. Below, Seoul glittered like scattered diamonds, beautiful and sharp and dangerous. She'd built something here. Small, yes, but hers. Safe. And now Hajun and Kong had crashed back into her life, bringing chaos and impossible choices and feelings she'd buried so deep she'd almost don't. Blessing whispered, but she didn't pull away. Don't look at me like that. Don't touch me like you have the herself they were dead. How do we do this? She asked finally. How do we take down your fiancé without getting killed in the process? She heard him move behind her, felt his presence like heat. Carefully. Yura's family has political power. Her father is a senator. If we move openly against her, we'll start a war we might not win. We need proof. Hard evidence. And we need her to think she's safe while we gather it. Blessing turned. What does that mean? It means I forgive her publicly, Hajun said, his voice cold now, strategic. I claim you're an obsessed ex who crashed the party. Maybe I even press charges against you for assault. Yura believes she got away with it. Meanwhile, you and I work in secret to find the proof we need. So I become the villain, Blessing said flatly. The crazy black woman who attacked you. That'll play well with the media. Hajun's expression tightened with something that might have been guilt. I know what I'm asking. It's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. But it keeps you alive. And it gives us time. Blessing wanted to say no. Wanted to walk out that door and straight to the airport, catch the first flight to anywhere that wasn't here. But she'd kissed him in front of hundreds of people. She'd already chosen sides without meaning to. And some terrible, treacherous part of her wanted to stay, wanted to be near him even if it destroyed her all over again. Fine, she said. But Hajun, when this is over, when Yura's exposed and dealt with, we're done. Whatever we had, whatever we could have had, it died 3 years ago. This is business. Survival. Nothing more. He nodded slowly, but his eyes held that dangerous hope again. Nothing. How do we do this? She asked finally. How do we take down your fiancé without getting killed in the process? She heard him move behind her, felt his presence like heat. Carefully. Yura's family has political power. Her father is a senator. If we move up more. Liar, Blessing thought. They were both liars. But in secret, she met with Hajun. Abandoned warehouses. Empty parking garages. Once, bizarrely, in the back room of a Nariban at 3 a.m. while drunk college students sang ballads beyond the soundproof door. He brought files. Financial records. Photos. They built their case piece by careful piece. Yura had been planning this for months, maybe longer. She'd embezzled from Hajun's businesses, funneled money to his rivals, shared intelligence with his enemies. The poison was just the final step. With Hajun dead, she'd inherit his assets through a prenup that heavily favored her, then merge everything with her father's political machine. It was elegant. Ruthless. It would have worked. Why did you agree to marry her? Blessing asked one night, hunched over surveillance photos in yet another anonymous location. You must have suspected something. Hajun leaned against a concrete wall, exhausted. My father arranged it before he died. Yura's family has connections we needed. And honestly, I didn't care who I married. After you left, it all felt meaningless anyway. One political alliance is as good as another when you're already empty. Don't, Blessing warned. Don't make this about us. You sent me away, remember? You chose this life. I chose wrong, he said quietly. I chose wrong, and I've regretted it every single day since. Blessing looked away, blinking hard. We need to focus. Do we have enough evidence yet? Almost. I need to access Yura's personal communications. She's been careful, but there has to be a direct connection to Kim Doyen. Something that proves conspiracy beyond doubt. How do we get that? Hajun smiled, and it wasn't pleasant. We let her think she's won. I'm announcing that we're moving up the wedding. This weekend. Private ceremony, but in secret, she met with Hajun. Abandoned warehouses. Empty parking garages. Once, bizarrely, in the back room of a no-close family. She'll be excited, distracted. That's when we move. But Yura was smarter than they'd given her credit for. 3 days before the planned wedding, Blessing's apartment was raided. Not by police, by something worse. Private security. The kind that didn't ask questions or leave witnesses. Blessing only survived because Hajun had assigned his own men to watch her, and they got her out through a window with minutes to spare. She stumbled into Hajun's safe house at dawn, shaking with adrenaline and terror. He caught her as her legs gave out, holding her against his chest while she gasped for air. She knows, Blessing managed. Yura knows we're working together. She sent people to kill me. Hajun. They had guns. They weren't there to scare me. Hajun's arms tightened around her. You're safe. I've got you. You're safe. For how long? Blessing pulled back, looking up at him with wide eyes. She'll keep coming. She has resources, connections. We're not ready. We don't have enough proof yet. Then I'll give her what she wants, Hajun said, his voice hard with decision. Tomorrow, I'm holding a press conference. I'm standing beside Yura, denouncing you publicly as a criminal and a liar. I'm announcing that we're still getting married, that nothing you've done can touch what we have. Blessing felt something crack inside her chest. What? It's the only way to protect you, he said, gripping her shoulders. If Yura thinks I've completely turned against you, if I give her everything she wants publicly, she'll stop hunting you. You'll become irrelevant. Just another crazy ex disposed of. Meanwhile, I keep digging, keep finding evidence. When I have enough, I'll expose her. But you'll be safe. That's what matters. You're throwing me to the wolves, Blessing said numbly. I'm keeping you alive, Hajun corrected. Blessing, look at me. I will fix this. I will make her pay for everything. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that? After everything, can you trust me one more time? But Yura was smarter than they'd give. She searched his face, seeing the desperation there, the fear poorly hidden behind determination. He meant it. He would sacrifice their alliance, his own integrity, everything except her life. Just like 3 years ago when he'd sent her away. Hajun Kong protected what he loved by pushing it as far from himself as possible. I trust you, Blessing whispered, and watched relief flood his features. But Hajun, when you look at her tomorrow, when you hold her hand and smile for the cameras, remember that I'm out here somewhere. Remember what we're fighting for. He kissed her then, desperate and fierce. I could never forget you. I tried for 3 years. It didn't work. The press conference was brutal. Blessing watched from a dingy motel room, heartbreaking with each word. Hajun looked perfect beside Yura, playing the devoted fiancée, the victim of an obsessed stalker's delusions. Yura glowed with victory, her hand possessive on his arm. They announced the wedding would proceed. They looked happy. They looked right together in a way that made Blessing want to throw things. And the city believed it. Within hours, the narrative shifted. Blessing became yesterday's drama, replaced by new scandals. Yura stopped hunting her. Hajun's men reported that the surveillance had been called off. Blessing was free to move around again, as long as she stayed invisible. But freedom felt hollow when every news channel showed Hajun with Yura, attending parties, sharing meals, performing the romance Seoul expected. Blessing knew it was fake. She knew Hajun was playing a role, gathering evidence, working toward the moment they could strike. But knowing didn't stop the jealousy that ate at her insides. Didn't stop her from wondering if maybe this was easier for him than he claimed. Maybe he'd moved on. Maybe 3 years had been enough time to get over what they'd had. She searched his face, seeing the desperation there, the fear poorly hidden behind determination. He meant it. A month passed. Then 6 weeks. Blessing existed in limbo, waiting for word from Hajun, getting nothing but silence. The wedding date approached. 1 week. 5 days. 3 days. She started to panic. Maybe he'd changed his mind. Maybe Yura had convinced him somehow. Maybe Blessing had been a fool to trust the man who'd broken her heart once already. 2 nights before the wedding, someone knocked on her motel room door. Blessing grabbed the knife she kept under her pillow, heart racing. Who is it? It's me. Hajun's voice came through the door, rough and exhausted. Please, Blessing. Let me in. She opened the door. He looked terrible. Thinner than she remembered, shadows under his eyes, his expensive suit rumpled. He walked in without speaking and just stood there, swaying slightly, looking at her like she was water and he was dying of thirst. I have it, he said finally. All the evidence. Recorded conversations. Financial trails. Kim Doyen singing like a canary once I applied the right pressure. Everything we need to destroy her. That's good, Blessing said carefully. When do we move? After the wedding, Hajun said. During the reception. Maximum exposure. Maximum embarrassment for her family. I've arranged for police I trust to be there. Prosecutors who owe me favors. When I give the signal, it all comes down. Okay, Blessing said. So why are you here? Why risk coming to see me now when we're so close? Hajun closed his eyes. Because I'm about to marry her. Tomorrow I'll stand in front of God and witnesses and promise myself to Yura Min. And even though it's fake, even though I'm doing it to expose her, I needed to see you first. I needed to tell you that she's not you. She'll never be you. Every time I look at her, I'm thinking of you. Hajun. Blessing breathed, aching all over. A month passed. Then 6 weeks. Blessing existed in limbo, waiting for word from Hajun, getting nothing but silence. The wedding date approached. 1 week. 5D. I know I don't deserve you, he continued, opening his eyes. I know I've hurt you in ways I can't take back. But Blessing, when this is over, when Yura's dealt with and you're safe, I'm going to ask you something. And you can say no. You should probably say no. But I need you to know that I'm going to ask anyway. Ask what? To stay, he said simply. To give me another chance. To let me spend the rest of my life proving that I'll never choose anything over you again. Blessing felt tears streak down her face. You're getting married tomorrow. And day after tomorrow, I'll be free, Hajun said. He moved closer, cupping her face with both hands, thumbs brushing away her tears. Stay alive for me. Just a little longer. Can you do that? She nodded, not trusting her voice. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, finally her mouth with a gentleness that destroyed her. Then he left, disappearing into the Seoul night like a ghost. Blessing collapsed on the bed and cried until she had nothing left. The wedding was beautiful. Blessing watched online from her motel room, torturing herself. Hajun looked devastating in his tuxedo. Yura looked perfect in white lace. They said their vows. They kissed for the cameras. Blessing threw up twice. The reception started. Blessing couldn't watch anymore. She turned off the screen and stared at the ceiling, wondering how she'd ended up here, wondering if Hajun would actually go through with the plan or if he'd simply accepted his fate. She'd just decided to pack her things and leave Seoul forever when her phone buzzed. A message from a number she didn't recognize. Turn on the news. Any channel. Watch. Blessing fumbled for the remote. Every channel showed the same thing. Hajun's wedding reception. But something was wrong. Police everywhere. Yura in handcuffs, screaming. Senator Min being led away by prosecutors. Chaos. Beautiful, perfect chaos. I know I don't deserve you, he continued, opening his eyes. I know I've hurt you. Her phone rang. Hajun's voice came through rough with exhaustion and relief. It's done. Yura's arrested. Her father's facing corruption charges. Kim Doyen's been taken into custody. All of them. It's over. You did it, Blessing whispered. We did it, he corrected. Blessing, I'm coming to get you. Stay where you are. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Hajun wait. But he'd already hung up. Blessing sat frozen, barely breathing. It was over. Yura was done. They'd won. So why did she feel so terrified? Hajun arrived in 18 minutes. He burst through the door still wearing his tuxedo, though he'd lost the jacket and tie somewhere. His eyes found hers across the dingy room, and for a long moment, neither of them moved. Come with me, he said finally. Where? Away from here. Away from Seoul, from Korea, from all of it. I'm done, Blessing. The family business, the empire, the obligations. I'm burning it all down. My cousin can have what's left. I don't want it anymore. Blessing stood slowly. What are you saying? I'm saying I choose you, Hajun said, moving closer. I'm saying I should have chosen you 3 years ago, and I've regretted every moment since. I'm saying I love you. I've loved you the entire time you've been gone. I'll love you until I stop breathing. And if you tell me to leave right now, I'll go. But Blessing, please. Please give me one more chance to get this right. She looked at him. This man who'd broken her, and saved her, and broken her again. This man who'd just destroyed his own life to keep her safe. Who looked at her like she was the only real thing in a world of lies. They'll come after you, Blessing said. Your enemies. Your rivals. Walking away isn't that simple. Then we'll deal with them, Hajun said. Together. But I'm not doing this without you anymore. I can't. Her phone rang. Hajun's voice came through rough with exhaustion and relief. It's done. Yura's arrested. Her father's facing corruption charges. Kim D. Blessing thought about her quiet life here, the safety she'd built. She thought about how easily it had all fallen apart the moment he'd come back into her world. She thought about the 3 years she'd spent trying to forget him, trying to convince herself she was better off alone. I have conditions, she said finally. If we do this, if we leave, it's as equals. No more protecting me by pushing me away. No more choosing for me what's best. We face things together, or we don't face them at all. Hope bloomed across Hajun's face like sunrise. Yes, anything, whatever you want. And you have to promise me something else, Blessing continued, stepping closer. Promise me that if you ever have to choose between your empire and me again, you'll choose me. Every single time. No matter what. I promise, Hajun said immediately. I choose you. I chose you the moment you kissed me on that stage. I choose you now. I'll choose you tomorrow and every day after. There's no empire worth losing you for. Not anymore. Blessing closed the distance between them, rising on her toes to kiss him properly, thoroughly, without poison or cameras or the weight of the world watching. Just them. Just this. His arms came around her, lifting her off her feet, holding her like he'd never let go again. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Hajun pressed his forehead to hers. Where do you want to go? I have enough money hidden away to live anywhere. We could disappear completely. New names, new lives. Surprise me, Blessing said. Just make sure it's somewhere warm. I'm tired of Seoul winters. He laughed, the sound rusty but genuine. Warm. I can do warm. That night, Hajun staged his own death. A car explosion, dramatic enough to make headlines, complete enough that no one would question whether he'd survived. His enemies would assume he'd been taken out by rivals. His family would mourn and move on. And Hajun Kong, heir to a criminal empire, would cease to exist. Blessing. In his place, just a man named June who loved a woman named Blessing enough to burn his entire world down for her. They left Seoul at dawn, flying first to Tokyo, then Bangkok, constantly moving until they were certain no one was following. They ended up in a small coastal town in Portugal, where the Mediterranean sun turned Blessing's skin gold, and Hajun finally learned to smile without calculation. They rented a tiny house with blue shutters and a garden full of lemon trees. Hajun learned to cook. Blessing taught English to local children. They were no one special. Just two people building something real out of the ashes of who they used to be. Some nights, Blessing still woke up afraid. She'd reach for Hajun in the darkness, needing to confirm he was real, that this wasn't some elaborate dream. He was always there, solid and warm, pulling her close and murmuring promises against her hair until she fell back asleep. They were drinking coffee on their terrace one morning, watching fishing boats bob in the harbor, when Blessing's phone buzzed with a news alert. Korean senator found guilty of corruption. Family empire collapses. Yura Min sentenced to 20 years in prison. It's really over, Blessing said, showing Hajun the article. He pulled her into his lap, wrapping his arms around her waist. It's really over. We're free. Are we? Blessing asked. Or are we just hiding? Maybe both, Hajun admitted. But Blessing, I'd rather hide with you than rule without you. I'd rather have this tiny house and lemon trees and peace than everything I used to have. As long as I have you. Blessing turned in his arms, studying his face. He looked younger somehow, without the weight of his legacy crushing him. The shadows under his eyes had faded. He smiled easily now. He was healing. They both were. I love you, she said, the words simple and true. I never stopped. Even when I hated you, even when I tried to forget you, I loved you. In his place, just a man named